I'm 6 months pregnant and I don't want the baby anymore. I didn't know I was pregnant until about 4 months in. IDK what to do, it's too late for abortion. I'm 22 and I wasn't ready for this. My child's father wants the baby and is very excited. But our relationship is almost beyond repair. I'm toxic and he recently cheated. I don't want to raise this child with him if we aren't going to be together. IDK how to get over him stepping out on me while I'm pregnant. You could give him the child and ask not to be involved if he agrees to that. If not, adoption is an option. Adoption or give the baby to him and terminate your rights. Then get a therapist. It sounds like he is excited for the child, which is good. You should think about whether or not you want the child to be in your life or not. It is possible to sign away parental rights and give him full custody. If you would like the child in your life, you could explore shared custody. There are plenty of people that co-parent. But you should not stay in a relationship with the baby's dad if you do not have a healthy relationship. You are being fed a lot of terrible advice here. I advise you speak to a lawyer and fight for what's best for you and this baby. You don't owe this man anything. Maybe when the baby gets here, if y'all break up, maybe he can have full custody? Or adoption. But do remember the child will be attached to you through child support if he chooses to. Having a baby is a life commitment and a big change. You might change your mind when the baby gets here though. If that's the case, being a single mother is not the end of the world. You can do it. You'll just have to step up and be responsible. I'm also 22 and I have a 4-month-old. No, I can't go out and party like I used to. But I've became a mother and it changed me mentally and physically. The baby is my top priority and I wouldn't change it for the world. Terminate your rights and give him the child. Men do it all the time, so can women. Consult with a therapist. It doesn't sound like you thought of all the possibilities. Get a lawyer who can help you with some options. Hi. I hope this doesn't get buried. I was in this exact situation in my life before. Early 20s. Unwanted pregnancy that I didn't know about until 4.5 months. I was horrified. I was 23 and in college. I had zero money. My relationship sucked. His family was very accepting, but I didn't even tell my parents I had a boyfriend, so you can only imagine how great that conversation went with my old school parents. I wanted to die. I thought about giving the baby up for adoption. How the hell could I ever get out of that situation? I wasn't even sure I actually liked my boyfriend at all and had broken up with him a few weeks prior to finding out. His family hosted a baby shower and I didn't show up. I couldn't. How could I when I didn't want it in the first place? Too late to abort. If I give the baby away, my family will never forgive me. I wasn't ready. But let me tell you, nobody is ever ready. And that feeling of dread made me so scared up until I held her in my arms. It was joy. I had never known true love until I held her. She was perfect and she was mine. And I knew that everything was going to be okay. She's almost 10 now and my best friend. I cannot imagine life without her. I just told her how I only had $10 in my pocket when she was born. I had nothing. But as a parent, you find ways to make it work. Always. That feeling of true love really got me through it. And thankfully my boyfriend stuck around and our bond grew strong after we stopped drinking all the time and being toxic to each other. I now have 2 children and I didn't realize that being a parent was going to be the best and hardest, most rewarding thing I've ever done. I see people in their late 30s having kids and they're all exhausted and stressed. I get that it's okay to wait, but by the time I'm 40 I'll have almost adult kids and I'll be super happy about my future and soaking it up. I'm also stoked my parents were young enough to enjoy my kids and be involved before they get super old. Anyways, I hope this brings you some kind of comfort, because reading this post caught me in my feels because I know just what you're going through. Zoe edit. I hope this doesn't come across as me telling you what to do. I just wanted to share my story to give you a little insight. And I know a lot of kick-ass amazing single moms. You don't want the baby, but the father does. There's your answer right there. People are talking about terminating your rights as if you can do that in vacuum. It depends on where you live, but you may want to talk to a lawyer about your legal obligations. Where I live, for example, a parent cannot unilaterally terminate their obligations to support a child. That's legally. Practically, there's lots of absentee parents who have non-existent relationships with their kids. Why does everyone assume she is going walk away from child and not pay child support? She's not a man. He says he wants the baby. Consider that he wants the baby as a way to keep you tied up with him. I'm cynically guessing that if you offer the baby to him, for him to keep and raise as a single parent, he'll back out so fast he's going in reverse. You need to talk to someone like a therapist before making any final decisions. Please talk to your midwife. Ask if he's okay with adoption. If not, begin to search for lawyers to set up a custodial plan with child support, full custody, shared custody. Figure out what you want. If you don't want the baby and he does, you can give up your custodial rights and let him raise the baby himself. You'll more than likely be obligated to pay child support, but it is what it is. Child support is usually pulled directly from your paycheck, so there would be almost zero interaction between you two. You cannot put the child up for adoption without him terminating his rights. Trying to do so would probably be illegal and highly unethical. Have you expressed to your baby daddy that you do not want the child? You need to straight up say to him that you aren't prepared to be a mother, but if he wants to keep the child, you are willing to do so. Or you can to put the baby up for adoption. You have a couple of options, and you are not required to stay in a relationship with him because of the baby. 1. Sign away your rights. In most places you would still have to pay child support and allow him to raise the baby. 2. Give birth and co-parent with the father. You can't give the baby up for adoption without his consent, and it doesn't sound like he would give it up. You have gotten a lot of comments and some people have been a little harsh. But understandably, I think here, the fact of the matter is your only real options are to either sign over your rights to the father and pay child support, or figure out how to effectively co-parent together. But I think right now you're very hurt. If I were you, I would talk to a therapist before making any permanent decisions. Signing away your rights while you're so angry could end up being something you regret later. If you are going to use that nuclear option, just make sure you're 100% sure you do not want to have this child in your life at all, because there's really no coming back from it. You don't have to raise the child. But at 6 months pregnant, you do have to give birth to the child. Your options are to raise the child with the child's father and stay in the relationship, which seems doomed to fail based on your post, or you could raise the baby with the child's father in a shared custody agreement. Live separately and end your relationship with him. You could give sole custody to him and not be a part of your child's life. You could put the child up for adoption. If you can get the child's father to agree, you could petition for sole custody. But you'd have to have something a lot more heinous than he cheated on you. No court is revoking parental rights for that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.